Hey you, do you want to be a Navi? Well, in this video game, you can. I remember back in 2009 when I went to see Avatar in theaters. It was an incredible experience and an event that captivated the whole world. James Cameron, the legend of cinema, released yet another hit and continued to grow his resume of mega hits, such as Terminator, Aliens, Titanic, and many more. At that time, I also started thinking about what a video game in that wonderful and imaginative world will be like. And I came to the conclusion that it will be amazing. That same year, in December, Ubisoft released Avatar, the game, for PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, the Nintendo Wii, and PC. There were also versions for the Nintendo DS and PSP. The game had mixed reception but sold like hotcakes at 5 AM. But those sales were thanks to the popularity of the film. It's no secret that the movie's popularity helped boost video game sales. Avatar the game, I found it to be a mediocre game, and more than anything, a product designed solely to sell, without contributing anything to or celebrating the intellectual property on which it was based. But in 2022, many years later, Avatar 2, or as it was titled, The Way of Water, was released, and once again, as usual, Mr. James Cameron hit a home run with his franchise of blue aliens with cat noses. And of course, Ubisoft, which must have the Avatar rights well protected, announced that it will be working on another video game based on this franchise. Since this project based on the Avatar universe was announced, Ubisoft learned from its mistakes with the 2009 game, and for this iteration, Avatar Frontiers of Pandora looked promising from the first trailer until completing the main campaign of this spectacular and visually stunning game with its chimeric visuals. The game is an action-adventure that can be played in either first-person or third-person perspective. The latter was added after an update. It's an open-world game developed by Massive Entertainment, a studio known for its work on the Division 1 and 2, which are third-person online action games. These titles combine role-playing elements with third-person shooters mechanics. I played the first one and I had a fantastic time. I even recommend playing them in 2026, Avatar Frontiers of Pandora was published by Ubisoft. The game is available for the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. I play it on PlayStation 5 in performance mode, and it ran flawlessly. In over 60 hours of gameplay, I never encountered a single error. The game ran as smoothly as melted butter, cooking some spaghetti carbonara. The premise of Avatar Frontiers of Pandora is as follows. You control a Navi, the indigenous species inhabiting Pandora, a moon of the planet Polyphemus in the Alpha Centauri solar system. You can customize the Navi's gender and physical characteristics as you please. In the start of the game, the Navi that we control as players is an orphan, raised and trained by the humans of the RDA forces. There are 5 siblings in total, from a tribe called Sarentu, which under unclear circumstances ceased to exist on the moon Pandora. The circumstances of the Sarentu's clan's disappearance will be revealed as the story unfolds, and it was by no means accidental. The siblings are Tamte, Rinella, Ahari, Taylan, and Nor. The story begins 8 years before the events of the first film, starring Jake Sully, the humans, in conjunction with the RDA, have established a research program called TAP, the Ambassador Program, led by Dr. Alma Cortez, a very important character in the plot. However, she is not the villain of this adventure. That title belongs to the top leader, John Mercer, an RDA leader with delusions of grandeur, whose only concern is financial gain. After 8 years, the RDA suffers a major blow at the hands of the Na'vi forces, led by Jake Sully. In this situation, the siblings are placed in the suspended animation and awaken after 15 years in an abandoned complex. It is there that the player begins to control the native of Pandora, opening up a vast world. The Navi's mission is to venture into the western frontier, an area shown for the first time in the Avatar universe. The start of an odyssey where players will have to organize the tribes inhabiting this frontier to stop the RDA and its soldiers, plans to exploit the region's natural resources. Beyond that, a very personal matter for the Na'vi siblings who were raised in human facilities is discovering their origins, their ancestors, and the history of their tribe, the Sarentu. The story, while inspired by the film's narrative, has a very personal touch. The group of Na'vi raised by humans suspects that the intentions of these earthlings. This group, including the character we control, wants to learn about their past and explore Pandora freely, since they were forced to remain locked up in the RDA facility their whole life. This personal narrative adds depth to the adventure, preventing it from becoming a typical story of saving the world by force. The part that left me speechless, with an open mouth, baby, with the beauty of the visual presentation, was when I escaped the RDA facility in the beginning of the game. We walk through a dark and wrecked corridor, but suddenly a natural light appears in the distance, a light diffused by the dust of the rubble and the smoke from the explosions that occur in the RDA's military complex. Upon reaching the end of the corridor with the exit to Pandora clearly in sight, the game's developers slapped you in the face with the stunning graphics of the moon's flora and fauna. After playing Avatar Frontiers of Pandora for many hours, I can confidently say that for me, the main protagonist, the important, the essential element of this video game is neither the Na'vi nor the humans. The primary focus is the moon Pandora, with its fantastical, splendid and visually captivating flora and fauna, not to mention the depth of its folklore. Pandora carves a space in your subconscious, in your visual taste, and I might even say leaves a mark on your heart and soul. If we are speaking philosophically, of course. During my adventure on this moon, it pained me to witness the atrocities committed by the humans of the RDA in their pursuit of minerals, solely for monetary gain. Hey, but not all humans who landed on Pandora came with the same colonialist plans as the RDA. Many deserted and joined a rebellion against the RDA's destruction. This rebellion is also aided by some Na'vi who realize that not all humans think like them, and that some simply want to learn to coexist with the Na'vi on Pandora. Gladly, the character we control is a complete novice, unfamiliar with the Na'vi culture as well as the flora and fauna of Pandora. The developer's decision to place a Na'vi with no knowledge of their surroundings is perfect for us players who, like the Na'vi, venturing into the wild without much understanding of the environment before them, share that feeling of ignorance, which creates total immersion in the game. The game opens the door to an overwhelming yet satisfying freedom. I was always amazed by the density of the flora. The jungle is teeming with life, from tiny insects and plants that react to being passed nearby, some even causing harm with electricity or toxic gases. When you eat beans with rice. The flora is also greatly aids in navigating this vast landscape, with vines for climbing to high places or descending safely, mushrooms that serve as springboards, and others that release pollen, giving the Navi a speed boost. The diversity of the fauna is exceptional. Some animals are aggressive, others are peaceful, and many are more than just a means of transportation. For the Navi, as seen in the films, the Navi travel most quickly across Pandora on their trusty Ikran, those flying predators that visually resemble a dragon. And yes, ladies and doggies, in the game we have the option to fly on the back of an Ikran. Exceptional. I've been very happy flying with my faithful companion, Amai, the Ikran. This reptilian creature is native to the moon Pandora, the home of the Navi. This dragon-like flying predator is the most reliable means of transportation for many Navi clans. But in the Navi world, Ikrans are not easy to tame. No. These creatures choose and decide if a Navi is worthy of being an Ikran rider. The more these flying beings sense the Navi's bravery, the greater their chance of being tamed. In the game, I had to climb a floating mountain, since there are where the Ikrans nests. When I reached the top, a female Ikran chose me to try being her rider, and it was an instant connection. I named her Amai, and she has been a faithful companion, whether flying, hunting, or fighting against the forces of the RDA. The Ikran have 2 eyes that see like humans, and 2 others that they can move independently, which allow them to see in infrared, like the predator on the movie, helping them hunt at night. Ikrans can reach a wingspan of almost 14 meters. They are very fast and resilient, able to fly for long periods without a rest. Flying with the Ikran in the game is a wonderful experience, and the connection with them goes beyond service or friendship. When you connect with an Ikran through the Matrix-style link, the feelings and thoughts of the Navi and the Ikran merge. They feel the same pain and even share the same joys and fears. The connection between the Navi and Pandora is incredibly deep also. The Navi can feel and see what Ewa feels and sees. Ewa is Mother Nature on Pandora. The Navi consider Ewa the deity of life, a force beyond the superficial and tangible. Ewa can maintain the balance of the ecosystem on Pandora, and her great power is connecting every living organism on the moon. The Navi can interact with Ewa face to face by connecting a part of their body very similar to an umbilical cord. They connect it to the Tree of Souls or the Tree of Voices. Also, Ewa retains the consciousness of the deceased Navi, which is why many Navi connect to Ewa to remember their loved ones and enjoy the presence of those who are no longer physically with them. Ewa also defends herself against organisms that are not native to Pandora, such as humans, whom Ewa considers pathogens that should not be in the moon's ecosystem. Fair enough. But Avatar Frontiers of Pandora is not all about exploration and nature like a BBC or National Geographic documentary. You'll have to grit your teeth and face many threats. On Pandora, you not only have to survive the beautiful and striking but also aggressive flora and fauna. Even for the native Navi is dangerous. But you also have to survive the human armed forces, or as they are called on Pandora, the Sky People. The human army has a colonialist agenda, and they fire without hesitation at any obstacle, be it flora, fauna, or the Na'vi themselves. Their weaponry includes assault rifles, shotguns, heavily armed exoskeletons, and helicopters with satellite-guided rockets. Very, very dangerous. However, our Na'vi aren't lagging behind in their war toys. For example, in my experience with the game, my favorite weapons are the heavy bow and the shotgun of the RDA forces. The heavy bow is made from wood and branches native to Pandora. Its string, crafted from plants' fibers, provides optimal tension for pinpointing an arrow between the enemy's eyes with precision and devastating force. The arrow, with its razor-sharp point, can penetrate even the protective armor of the mechanized exoskeletons. A perfect weapon for stealthy, solid snake-style incursions. The shotgun, of human origin, is made of a material resistant to the climate of Pandora. With a semi-automatic system, its cartridges expand on contact, lethally piercing any target. Its large size allows the Na'vi I control to feel comfortable opening fire in combat. The shotgun is ideal for when the things get hairy and you want to go Rambo style into the arena, unleashing a hail of bullets in all directions, baby. For me, this video game is worth playing just for wandering around and exploring the world the developers created, emulating and faithfully following the original film material. I finished the main story, but I still have a ton of side quests to complete. These weren't just there to pad out the game with content. They have good narratives and further explain every aspect of Na'vi culture, from helping some very important insects in Pandora's ecosystem find a new home, to helping a young Na'vi explain to her father that she wants to be a rider and not a gatherer, making him understand that his daughter's gender doesn't determine her future in the clan. They are dynamic, varied quests, full of small details that bring this beautiful pixelated world to life. In addition to other two DLCs, Massive Entertainment released a DLC dedicated to the third film, Avatar Fire and Ash. So it's safe to say there's plenty of content to get pleasantly lost on the moon Pandora. This is your chance to feel like a Na'vi and experience their entire culture in an interactive way. I highly recommend Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. Of course, for fans of the movies, but also for those who enjoy a deep and fun video game. Okie dokie, thank you for your time and your support. I wish you the best. I wish you a healthy life and see you next time. Bye bye.